Are you interested in studying medicine? Either you're in high school or you are currently pursuing another degree and you want to transfer into medicine. Then these are the 10 things you need to know before getting into medical school. My name is Andiswa. I am a UCT medical student and this is Becoming Dr. Andy. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for watching one of my videos once again. And if you are here for the second time or the third time, but you still haven't subscribed, please do the right thing and subscribe. And if you are new here, I would like to welcome you. I hope you do stay and become a part of my journey as I become Dr. Andy. As you know that I am a UCT medical student, some of these facts might only apply to UCT, but most of these facts do apply to all the universities in South Africa, or rather all the medical schools in South Africa. Number 1. In most universities, it takes a minimum of 6 years to obtain the MPCHB degree, with some universities such as University of Free State offering a 5-year degree program and some offering 7 years if you enter their extended program. Even though it might be 5 years or 7 years, we can all agree that medicine is such a long degree to study. My point is, if you are interested in studying medicine, please be sure that it is exactly what you want to do, because you do not want to commit to full-time studying for 6 years, but you are still not sure. I know a couple of people who are not sure about medicine and get into it anyway, and when they are in their 4th year, 5th year, or towards finishing, they realize that medicine is not really for them. Because if you're going to spend that long on something that you do not really like or you're not really passionate about, it will catch up on you. You will eventually get tired of it. So please make sure that you know that you are interested in medicine or you really want to study medicine before you commit to it. Number 2, the pressure. The pressure is getting worse. This degree has so much pressure. There's pressure from family, pressure from yourself, pressure from the faculty, the doctors, your tutors. It is quite a lot. I mean, it is medicine. You are studying to save people's lives. That on its own is a lot of pressure. So it is a degree or a career filled with a lot of pressure. Your whole life, you are going to be pressured to be able to save somebody's life. You have pressure that surgery has to be successful. You have pressure that medication has to work. You have pressure that this person has to go home feeling completely well. There is a lot of pressure. And let's start with pressure from family. Already, when you are doing like your first year in medicine, already they're like, yo, Dela, you made it. They're looking up to you, that you're gonna come back home and turn their lives around. They're already counting you as a whole doctor. And that thing is not good. Like, if you're a parent and you're watching this video and your child is studying medicine, please don't put so much pressure on them, because if you are getting pressure from family and you are not doing well in medicine, or you're not feeling okay, or you don't feel like medicine is your thing anymore, you want to change to something else, you might not be able to, or you might be scared to do that because already your family has a lot of pressure on you. And sometimes you might not even want to do medicine because of how your family is pressuring you, or because of how it seems like you are studying for your family. You get what I'm saying? Be supportive, but do not put people in pressure. Give people their space, their time to experience, to make mistakes, to fail. I know if you are studying medicine, it means that your marks in high school probably were very, very high, and now you get into medical school, it is very challenging, a totally different experience. You can't expect someone to be getting distinctions. I'm not saying it's impossible. It is possible, but you can't expect someone to be getting distinctions. I know parents who actually ask for results after every test and after every semester. That thing is depressing. If you're a parent and you're watching this, that thing is depressing. Try to find a way to discuss about how your child is doing in high school without being strict, like, show me your results. Like, I know a lot of people who actually are facing a lot of pressures from their family or from their parents. Their parents want them to keep on getting 70s, 80s, and 90s in medicine, in medical school. You are completely being realistic, and you are sending your child to this dark place you don't even know. It is real. Medicine is very, very challenging. There is a lot of pressure. Already your child is feeling a lot of pressure by themselves. For you to add on that is really not helping. That's why people get anxious, that's why people get depressed, and that is why people end up wanting to end their life, unfortunately, because they feel like they've disappointed you or something like that. So I would like to encourage, even if like you have like a relative, you're a cousin, or you have a sibling that is studying medicine, try to be supportive in any way possible and do not put any pressure on them. Number 2 is the pressure that you have on yourself, from yourself, within yourself. That pressure you cannot avoid, because already if you are facing any other pressures outside, already you're gonna have pressure on yourself. The pressure of you wanting to do well in medical school, it is natural, especially if you've been a good performer from high school. As I said, it is natural that you might feel like you want to continue with that performance, and try to kind of find a balance. Try to kind of understand that medicine is not the same as high school, and know that a 60 in medicine might be equivalent to an 80 in life science in high school. So try to be realistic about it. But that is one of the pressures. The pressure to do good, the pressure to know everything, because we are required to know everything, basically. Coming to the pressure from your tutors or the doctors, especially when you get to your clinical years, where we do like clinical procedures, we do management of the patients. You need to know what drug you need to give the patient, what dosage you need to give the patient, what to do when this patient presents with this kind of illness. That on its own is a lot of pressure, especially if you do not know your work. You are going to feel it in that hospital, because they are going to ask you. We have ward rounds where students come, like, meet doctors, and then we go see patients by patients, and in that ward round there are interactions where the doctors or the consultants will ask student questions, and if you do not know, you're gonna look like a fool in that ward round. We're all gonna be looking like at you and be like, we're waiting for the answer. Unfortunately, there is that pressure as well, that, oh my god, I didn't know what to give this patient, what medication to give this patient. I do not know my work. I couldn't put my IV line on. A lot of things. There's a lot of things going on. Like, the pressure keeps on getting worse, because every year, as the year progresses, you're expected to be better, and by your final year you're expected to literally know anything, like everything. So it is a degree that has a lot of pressure, unfortunately, because people's lives are relying on you. Like, you have to be able to save lives, and that on its own is a lot of pressure. So keep that in mind. If you want to get into medical school, know that you are going to be working under pressure every single day of your life, but that is how diamonds are made. under pressure. Number 3, this might be UCT specific. So if you want to study medicine at UCT, listen attentively. This shook me. I was shocked, okay? When I got into medicine first year, I thought I was done with physical sciences. Like, oh my God, I aced that thing. I'm never gonna do it again. Only to spend the first 6 months of my university, of medical school, doing physics and chemistry. I am not even going to lie to you. In medicine first year at UCT, I'm not sure about other universities, but you're going to do physics and chemistry. It is similar to the one you do in high school, but I still don't understand why they do that. I still don't understand why we should take physics and chemistry as a course, because already you've proven yourself that you know the subject in high school. But yeah, that is one of the things. So if you do not want to do physics and chemistry, do consider another institution, even though I'm not sure if there is an institution that is offering like a different curriculum. I think so. So you can do your research in which institution doesn't offer physics and chemistry. The reason why this is a big thing is because a lot of people do fail first year because of physics and chemistry, and you get to repeat the year, unfortunately. So now you're gonna add a year on top of the 6 years of your degree just because you failed physics and chemistry. And I feel like those two courses are so unnecessary, because right now in my clinical years, I am not asked about any acids and bases, any organic chemistry, any hydraulics, any Newton's law. I do not use it. It doesn't apply in the clinical field. I know they told us when we asked, I was like, why are we studying physics in medicine? They're like, yeah, you need to know your hydraulics in order for you to connect your IV line. I do not even remember the hydraulics formula, but I can connect an IV line so well. So that is one of the things that I don't understand about this degree. But unfortunately, you have to go through that. And another thing that literally broke my heart, as a person who loved and enjoyed maths in high school, I got to medical school and there was no maths. I know it makes sense for it not to have maths, or for us not to take maths as a course, because what are you going to be counting? Patients. You can surely count up to 20. So you do not study maths at all. Like if you want to study medicine, you are leaving maths in high school. There's nothing mathematical you are ever going to experience in med school, even though you can argue and say dosages and whatsoever. But as medical students, I promise you, we do not do so much dose calculations. Yes, there are some doses that we need to know, but in terms of calculations and balancing and titrations, we leave that to the pharmacists. We do not do much of that. So you have no interaction with meds whatsoever. So be prepared to leave maths, to stop doing maths. Number 4, at UCT, you are required to study Afrikaans and isiXhosa as part of your courses. You do not get to choose. It doesn't matter whether you studied isiXhosa or Afrikaans in high school. You are required to take those subjects or those courses, both of them, not as an elective. You are required to take both of them, because they say that you have to know how to communicate with these patients, because there are patients that are only Afrikaans speaking or isiXhosa speaking here in the Western Cape, and you have to be able to know how to communicate with them. But I mean, it is a good thing, but also it's like, if I'm gonna get placed in KZN, then now I have my Afrikaans and isiXhosa. It won't be able to help me, because there I have to know how to communicate in isiZulu. I know that also in vets you get to, I think you get to pick which language to study, because Gauteng is such a very diverse province. I think they do offer like isiZulu, Setswana, Sepedi. I am not sure about that. But when you are studying medicine, or when you want to study medicine, be prepared to study languages. I never thought in my life I would ever study Afrikaans. I didn't take Afrikaans in high school, so that was kind of a challenge for me. But I cannot say that these courses are very, very hard. It is really, really basic. So I am going to be explaining more about it on my videos that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to do a video specifically for first year, second year, third year, and fourth year, giving you all the courses that are being taken on those years and my experience. So do stay tuned for that. Number 5, the pass mark. I was shook. Okay, from chemistry was negative marking, by the way. I remember in first year, and when we got to do like second semester, pass mark was around 55% at the time, and at second year it went to 60%, up to 65%. So yeah, I was just having a flashback. PTSD. Pass mark in medical school is not always 50%. I know they say, I mean, if you're a doctor seeing 100 patients, you can't be killing 50 and saving 50. So the pass mark can't be 50. But that makes things way more difficult, because already you're struggling, and they are telling you that if you got a 65%, that is a 50. And that was second year. That's why second year is one of the hardest years in medical school. So if you're coming into medicine, especially if you're transferring from other degree and you are used to a 50% pass mark, it gets higher and higher and higher, unfortunately. And one thing about UCT, you do not get exempted. It doesn't matter whether you get 90% for all of your tests. You are going to sit for that final exam and write it. I know at UKZN, if you get a certain mark, I think it's 60 or something like that, above like that mark for your test, or in average before your exams, you get to pick whether you want to write the final exam or not. So you can find yourself not writing any final exams your whole duration of your degree, which is crazy. But if it is something that you think you might want to consider, please consider UKZN, because UCT, hey, Kosiam. Number 6, you get to study all disciplines. It doesn't matter whether you are interested in cardiology only or neurology. You are going to deliver those babies. You are going to see all these patients with TB and HIV. You are going to be doing all sorts of things in the medical field until you finish your degree and you are able to specialize. Because I know a lot of people think that when you get into medical school, you get to pick which field you want to study according to your interest, and then you ignore the other fields. When you are studying medicine, every field you are going to study: anatomical pathology, virology, pharmacology, microbiology. Coming to clinicals where you are doing blocks, where you're going to be doing an internal medicine, anesthesiology, you're going to be doing your gynae, your surgery, your urology, all of those disciplines. You are going to get through them. If you are a person who is like interested, for example, in only like psychiatry, for example, and you want to be a psychiatrist, unfortunately you gotta see the blood, you gotta suture wounds, you gotta repair those gunshot wounds and those stab wounds, work through trauma, and then go through delivering babies, go through all of those stuffs up until you get to specialize and deal with psychiatry. So if you're a person who doesn't like seeing blood or is disgusted easily, you do not like doing other stuff, and unfortunately this degree might not be for you, because you are required to go through that up until you specialize, and then you have a luxury to be only focusing on one field and ignoring the other. You get what I'm saying? Number 7, this one is painful. This one is really, really painful. This is where you get tested. So, as a clinical student, you get to wake up every day of your life and go to the hospital and work. There is literally a huge transition from 3rd year to 4th year, or from preclinical to clinical, because you transfer from being a student who wakes up and attending lectures and going to the library, studying, and then coming back, to literally waking up every day of your life and going to the hospital. Right now, we do not attend any classes as a class. Like, we do not have lectures. You teach yourself the content. Yes, we do get some tutoring by doctors in the hospital as we do stuff, but most of it is like 80% clinical work, 20% studying. So we basically at this point pay to work. Like, I pay my school fees so that I can wake up every morning and go to a hospital and work. On top of that, we work so many long hours. We work overnight shifts. I'm currently doing my obstetrics blocks where we get to like deliver babies and stuff like that. I spend 24 hours in the labor ward straight, no sleep, as a student, and we do not get paid. You do not get paid. If there's any institution that is paying medical students for doing this stuff, please let me know so that I can transfer with immediate effect, because UCT do not pay us. You do not get paid. You get to work even during weekends, during holidays, public holidays. You wake up like a normal employed doctor and go and see patients, go and work. So that is something you need to think about. That is something you need to think about, because this is a huge commitment. You're going to be exhausted, backaches, headaches, and all of that. You are going to discover, unfortunately, mental illnesses that you didn't even know that they can manifest in you, because you are put in such harsh working conditions that you have to endure every single day of your life. On top of that, we have short school holidays. When you get to 4th year, you do not have a March or a September holiday. The only holiday you have is in June, and that is about 2 weeks, 3 weeks if you are lucky, and December. So you are going to be literally slaving from January to June, July to December, with no break. The only guaranteed break that you have is during a weekend after you just finished a block or written your exams. That is the only weekend that is guaranteed that you're going to be free. Any other weekend or any other public holiday, you are not guaranteed that you're going to be free, because if you are on call, you are going to have to wake up and go to the hospital. So we do not even get that enough time to rest. You go from block to block to block to block, and you do get so exhausted. So in this degree, you really have to have patience for it. You really have to be committed to it. So do think about that. Number 8, when you finish studying medicine, now you have your MPCHB degree, you are done. You fortunately or unfortunately can't go and apply for jobs just like that, like go to interviews, hand in your CVs. You have to wait to get placement, and you are placed by the government. Yes, the government of South Africa. So unreliable, I know. So when you are in your final year, you get to submit like a list of hospitals or clinics that you want to be placed or you want to work in or at, and then they offer you a placement according to that, but you are not guaranteed that you will get the hospital that you applied for, or you will get your number one priority or option. You might totally get something that is way far from what you applied for, or something that is not even in your top list or in the list that you handed in for the hospitals you want to go to. And that is the downside of it, that already you just finished medical school and you are now working in a province maybe you've never been. So do you think about that? But the good thing maybe is that it gives you sort of like a job guarantee, because the government is the one responsible to give you a job. At the end of the day, the government owes you a job. If it's gonna give you in 3 months or in 6 months, it's unfortunately sometimes the case that your placement is delayed, but your government at this point owes you a job. You do not have to wake up and go job hunting. Another thing is that after you graduate, you cannot go and work at a private hospital immediately after your medical school. You have to do your internship and your ComServe and get your license as a physician. Then you can work at a private sector, or you can now open your own private practice. So if you are going to be delayed by the government and you are going to do your internship late, unfortunately, you might sit at home unemployed because you can't do your internship and ComServe. Therefore, you can't progress and have your own practice, or progress and get your own job at a private sector. So it is one of the things that you need to think about. Number 9, this is one thing that is currently bothering me, or I'm still battling with. It is the issue of specializing. So if you are coming into medicine strictly because of a certain specialty, like you do not want to be a general practitioner, you just want to be a neurologist, for example, you are not guaranteed that you're going to get that post, unfortunately. So as I've said, you have to complete your medical degree for 6 years, do your internship for 2 years, your ComServe, which is 1 year. And then after that, you have to get a placed or a post as a cardiologist, a neurologist, or whatever you want to specialize in. There's no it's not like a university first year anymore, where they're like, okay, we are taking 200 cardiologists first year, and then you can just all of you guys apply, and then it's like you're entering university all over again. It's like a job post where a hospital would say, we need 2 cardiologists this year, and another hospital say, okay, we need 1 anesthesiologist, and another hospital be like, okay, we need 1 orthopedic surgeon, or something like that. And if those posts do not open, you might find yourself working as a general practitioner for years and years and years, and not specializing until that post open. And if that post open, it is a very, very high competition. Imagine if they're opening 3 posts to be a cardiologist and like 200 of you are applying. It's definitely a high competition. So be comfortable in being a general practitioner, because you are not 100% guaranteed that you are going to be able to specialize, especially in that field that you want. You might want to be a cardiologist and end up being a gynecologist, for example, because that post was open and you feel like maybe you can do gynae and you got into it. So keep that in mind. I'm not saying don't dream to specialize. It is possible, but you might face delays along the way. It's not a straight process of I'm gonna exit med school, get into cardiology, exit that, be a surgeon, everything straightforward. It's not like that. So you have to be able to handle being a general practitioner for a certain period of time until you get that post, and that's if it happens. Number 10, it is the high fees. You get to pay from 100 to 150,000 rand a year, excluding university rates. That is quite a lot. So if you are coming into medical school without any funding and you're going to fund yourself, please make sure that that pocket runs deep, because the fees are crazy expensive. And please do consider applying for bursaries. I made a video about bursaries for medical students, so if you still haven't checked that out, please check it out and apply for bursaries as soon as possible. So we've come to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching up until this far. If you found this video useful, please like it and share it with your friends or anyone who's interested in studying medicine. And please do not forget to subscribe to my channel. I'll see you again on another video. Bye.